to share time was the Des Moines Prayer Furnace that met at my home for 3.5 years. And Lou had this cool idea to take the prayer meeting on the road, and we would do these prayer tours and get in one of the buses and drive to different scenic points in the city and get out and either pray over the city or just pray while we're driving by if it was raining. And Lou always fascinated me because he was always wanting to find the redemptive purpose and the redemptive gift of something that may not be what it was intended to be. So he was really into the history of Seattle, and we would pray about the redemptive purpose and when the natives first came here and what was the initial purpose that God had for this land. But then the story of Henry Yesler that came in and helped found Seattle. And Henry Yesler was the one that had the timber mills and got the logging business going. But he also brought in a lot of alcohol and started all the brothels, and that's where the term Skid Road, I didn't know this, but the term Skid Road came because Henry Yesler had this street in Seattle that was all brothels. But anyway, Lou just felt like there was a corruption and a filth that was brought into this region by our forefathers, and he felt like we need to take that back if we can. So his point of contact was these little prayer stakes. He had numerous of these stakes, and he painted white. They had scriptures all over them regarding the, you could say better, Lou, just the house of prayer and God's purposes for something and that sort of thing. But so anyway, one late afternoon on a prayer drive, we take a tour through the oldest cemetery in Seattle in the bus, and we're praying in the bus. And Lou feels to take this stake out and go to Mr. Henry Yesler's grave, and he pounds the stake into Henry Yesler's grave. And Etta is in the bus saying, "Lou, let's get out of here. The cops come. We are in big trouble." And, it was a point of contact, and whether it's fanaticism or not, it's like according to his faith, so be it unto him. It was interesting to watch, and I was in agreement, but I was keeping my distance. Whatever. We were worried about other people in the cemetery if they see us and whatever. But as far as I know, that stake is still in the chest of Henry Yesler's grave. I'm sure the grass has grown over it, but if God honors that and does something, then so be it unto Lou's faith. So that was the most peculiar for me.
I felt some demons move that day.
Yeah, right. And we sure hightailed it and moved quick out of that cemetery. Lou was driving really fast. It was a little bit of anxiety. So, I'll also share that Lou, for me, Lou has been a real father figure. He's been a father's voice. And my dad was like 45 when I was born. I was the baby of 4. And unfortunately, my dad came down with Alzheimer's disease, and so he had the early symptoms of it by the time I was in junior high school. So there's a lot of understanding of my real father that I just didn't get to have. And so I feel like there's been a lot of healing just because of Lou's voice in my life. But one of his little words of wisdom that I thought was interesting was after my dad had passed away, he was a career colonel in the military before he had Alzheimer's. So he had a full military, respected funeral service with the folding of the flag and the 21-gun salute. And so I was showing Lou pictures of my father's funeral, and he looked at one picture of the Jefferson Barracks Cemetery back in the St. Louis area, and he made a comment about all the tombstones. And if you've ever seen National Cemetery, all the tombstones are just in perfect array, and they all look alike, and the grounds are manicured. But he was looking at all these tombstones, and he made a real interesting remark. He says, "You'll notice that you got graves all over there, and you'll have privates buried right next to generals." And an interesting comment that Lou made was that he says, "It just goes to show you there is no rank in the grave." And yeah, it was interesting. It was a good point. So, and then I guess the last comment I'll just make for me personally was I really saw a father's heart in my darkest hour. In the summer of 1996, I had a mental meltdown, and I had to get hospitalized for a couple of weeks. And I had several visitors that would come once, but Lou came almost every single day to let me know that you're not weird, the devil's weird. and you're gonna be just fine. And so at a time when I thought I was losing my mind, it was a stressful season after a divorce and just a lot of issues, and I had some eating problems going on, but at a time when I felt like I was losing my mind, I had a father's voice in Lubin's songs telling me that it was going to be okay.
Yes.
And he's been a dear friend to me that I've always known I could call any time of the day or night. And if I just need to bounce something off him, or get some mentoring, or just vent like I even did the other day through a situation, he's been right there for me regardless of my mood or whatever. So I want to honor Lou publicly for his role in my life. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to remark too along the same line about prayer. And I recall when we would have prayer furnace meetings downstairs here.
Okay, maybe.
And my point is, you always had something to make an object lesson. We've heard about the states
Sure.
and karate chop. But you had, I forget what you called it, the blunderbuss or
Oh,
Rod of Redemption.
rod of redemption.
Weapon of mass.
There you
Yeah,
go.
weapon
There you
of
go.
Mass redemption.
Mass redemption.
That must have been in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And that inspired me, and I came out with the Colt 45. You remember that?
Magnum 44.
Magnum 44 or something.
Yeah, that was a real blessing.
You're kind
Actually,
of
like
like
Clint Eastwood a little bit.
You kind of look like Clint Eastwood.
I've been told that. It must be true. So it was inspiring.
Thanks.
Thanks for the good word. Yeah, my dad is very thematic in